I've been on nofap for over 470 days cumulatively and even cured my corn-induced ED. And I struggled with this problem for years, but once I had the right system, all it took was 1 week to solve. Now I help men do the exact same thing in half the time it would take them. Now in this video, I'm breaking down realistic benefits you'll notice from 6 months on nofap. Not the hype, no fake superpowers, not your levitating, none of this stuff. The things that actually change and make a difference in your own life. Now, number one, stronger performance and blood flow. This is probably one of the most obvious ones that I noticed, right? For example, I'm going to give you the easiest example. You could literally think about a girl or anything like that, and boom, that's all it would take for you to already be, for your horns to be up, you to be ready to go. It's literally all it takes, right? And that's because you've been so intentional about guarding your eyes and guarding your mind in terms of what you're actually seeing, right? Because you got to think, probably for a lifetime or for a long time, you were being exposed to all these different images, right? All of this crazy dopamine as well. But in this case, since you've kind of chilled out a little bit, it's just boom, you're on point. And of course, any struggle that you had bedroom wise or anything like that, it's going to disappear because you've been so on point with your lifestyle, your habits. You're just becoming a different person. And of course, when you retain like that and you're on point with your habits, it will show in all the other areas of your life, right? You have no more leaks, right? And just your overall energy, right? So there's so many different benefits here. Now, number two, mental clarity. Now, mental clarity is a huge one because a lot of times, right, in the past, people would talk about things like brain fog. They can't think, right, critically. It's just their brain is just, there's so much dopamine and so much going on that they can't articulate themselves well and really just overall don't feel their best mentally, right? But literally, that brain fog lifts. Your brain feels so sharp, right? Because you're not spiking yourself with the corn dopamine. And then, of course, that focus is just super sharp as well. For example, and this is a huge one too, right? Let's say you have a project you have to work on, or, you're working on a business or something. Literally, it's easier to stay focused. And I literally swear by that because I've seen it so many times to where my streaks have gone longer and the amount of focus I have is just way easier. Like, it's easier for me every single day to put in the work and do what's necessary as a man to get to the next level than it was prior. Where sometimes, I might scroll on the phone for a little bit. I might kind of just be chilling, not actually wanting to do the work. But I almost feel like your excuses, let's say, for example, you had 10 excuses, it literally would cut down to maybe 0 or 1 when you retain longer because you've already cut through a lot of the garbage in your life that you had before in terms of just wasting time in general. So now you're just, all right, let's just get to it because it's really a result also of the goals that you have for your life because you're so focused now on the output and you don't have these obstacles that are in your way. It's like, man, what else am I going to do besides go to work, put in the work necessary to be the type of man that I really want to be. And with the mental clarity really comes overthinking as well. So you stop overthinking. That's another one I've noticed, right? So, you're present in the moment. You don't think about what you're going to say, what you're going to do. You just are in the moment. It's almost like you're in the Matrix where, you wake up and it's like things are moving slowly, but you're so present with everything going on that you're not worried about what other people are doing. You're not worried about all these other things in the world. You probably even took a break maybe from social media. You're just focused on today and what you can do to elevate yourself and really get yourself to the next level, right? And you even start carrying yourself a lot differently. And with that, number 3 comes the confidence that actually lasts. Now, man, if you have done this before, been on this path, you know what I'm talking about. That confidence where, again, you're not questioning yourself, you're present. Of course, you're keeping the promises that you've made to yourself. You walk around and you're observing things. You're not personally, I was never afraid to make eye contact as well, right? Sometimes your dopamine is all over the place. Sometimes you're a little, you don't make as much eye contact. Maybe you're in your phone or whatever. I'm telling you, once you get on that path, it's like you walk around and you're a different person. You make eye contact with people that are around. You're just more social, more confident in yourself. And that's because you don't have any guilt or shame and you're confident with your own situation, right? You've put in the groundwork necessary to really carry yourself like that. So your confidence just shifts like crazy. Now, if you want to feel that type of confidence, that energy that we've been talking about, I broke down the exact step-by-step system that allowed me to get 470 plus days on nofap and even cure my corn-induced ED within 1 week. And I'm exposing all of the secrets. So click the link in the description down below if you're tired of wasting time and want to attain real results. Link in the description. Now, number 4, emotional stability. Right? Of course, you don't have this cycle of shame. And I really think your mood as well. Because since you don't have these high and lows of, oh yeah, you spark your dopamine and then you're all the way down here. You're just a lot more stable in your day to day, just emotionally, because you're not crashing, right? And even things like stressful situations, right? You have less stress because you attack those head on. You don't have, right, all these outlets to where your energy can go. You just boom, you just do. Right? You do what's necessary, right? If you have a stressful situation, maybe it's something you have to get done. A lot of times you don't procrastinate as well, just because this is what you need to do. It's almost like, and I love this example of where your mind is just focused on one thing at a time versus if you're, releasing all the time, it's like your mind is going in different directions and you're not as sharp. And you can almost think of it as well as like a sword, to where your sword gets even sharper when you're retaining and you're focused on the one point. Just like me speaking to this camera, I'm focused, right, on speaking and connecting. I'm not thinking about all of these different things that are going on. I'm present in the moment. Now, emotions also hit deep, right? Because we were talking about emotional stability, but what really happens is you feel a lot more, right? If you're talking to someone, that's attractive, you just notice how attractive she is. You feel just more emotions. Everything is stronger, right? Because you're not diluting yourself with all of the spikes in dopamine. Number 5, better relationships. Now, of course, number 1, just intimacy overall, and you stop hiding from intimacy and maybe even avoiding women because you've solved your own problem. You literally, right? You have to think reproduction, right? And of course, just lust in general is one of the hardest things for every man to attain, including me, right? Everyone. And one thing I've noticed is that just me just learning about this and learning how to control, right, and not be led astray by all of these different feelings, right? You just the relationships in general. It's like, man, like I could really go talk to her. I have no fear of going to talk to her because 9 times out of 10 no man is doing what I'm doing, right? No man is controlling himself the way I'm controlling myself. She's just not going to be able to say anything just to manipulate me, no, because I'm in control here, right? And that's the difference of when you're in control of yourself and your emotions, and even conversations flow better as well. That's another one, right? Because you're so present that when you speak, you're not filtering yourself. You just speak and you know the right things to say, and it just, the conversation, you don't get stuck in your head as much, right? And you feel less pressure as well, because what you realize is that the man that you've become on this path and on this journey, you've literally turned yourself and changed yourself into someone who honestly people can depend on, right? You become closer to that man of your dreams and your potential. You're on the right path. And you just, in dating, right, the majority of women didn't have to do what you had to do to get to this point, right? They didn't have to retain, right? They didn't have to go on these streaks and put themselves through all this pain, right? They didn't have to do those type of things. And it really shows that you are the prize. Number 6, energy for things that matter. Man, the energy in the gym, number 1, is insane. I'm going to tell you right now. I guarantee you, compare these two, and you can even try it for yourself, right? Let's say you go 1 week, 2 weeks, and you're hitting the gym. I guarantee you'll feel stronger in the gym. You just can go one more rep, one more set, right? And you can. It's like all your energy is going into that workout, right? Versus boom, let's say, and you can try this, although I don't advise. Let's say you relapse, unfortunately, and then you go to the gym. I guarantee you're just not able to. You're doing pull-ups. You're not able to pull yourself up as strong, right? You're not able to do as many push-ups, benching. You're not able to do as much weight, squatting, right? Because that energy that you had, you just let it go, right? Instead of using it for something that can really propel you, right? Instead, you let it go to a tissue, my man. And even again, your goals, right? If it's business, fitness, whatever, you're one-minded. You're like, boom, this is what I'm doing. This is what it is. I'm not worried about everything else that's going on. And consistency really compounds. Now, I can give you an example, especially for my life, right? One of the biggest things was I had another YouTube channel where that was my main focus, and I was grinding so much on it literally every single day because I was retaining all of these things were happening to me, and I'm like, man, I got to make a change. And really it was a result of a girl going ghost on me, right? She went ghost on me, and then I'm like, boom, I got to make a change. And I was so focused on my work. It was every single day I was posting. There wasn't a day, I'm doing 7 days a week, and I'm just so hungry because I wanted a change in my life. I was starving, basically. I'm like, I gotta make some money online. I gotta figure this thing out. And the girl ghosting me plus retaining just boosted my drive. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that she regrets leaving. And that transformation just changed who I was as a man and as a person, because I was focused. And obviously things got shut down, if you know what I mean, right? People had to stay inside. I'm not going to say the word, but it really just made me so locked in. There was nothing else, right? It wasn't like you could see people. Everyone was indoors, and I said, man, this is my shot. This is my perfect opportunity to change my life for the better. And I absolutely did. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't so focused in retaining. Now, number 7, long-term perspective. And this is a big one, right? Because really the mentality that you want, and even I've noticed, is that I stopped counting the days, right? It got to a point to where, I wasn't so focused on just getting to the next day. But since I had these goals that I actually wanted to achieve for my own life, I'm like, boom, man, I'm just going to put in the work. I'm going to grind. And I want to be the man of that I know I can be, reach that potential, right? And I'm starting to see some of the fruits of that labor now. But at the time when I first started, it was like, man, I stopped worrying about the day, right? I'm like, let's just put all this energy into work. Let me put all of the trauma, all of the bad things, the good things, whatever happens, man, I'm going to put it into work, and I'm going to show up every single day. And I don't care what everyone else is doing. I'm pretty much going to go ghost in a way and just grind it out. And that's really what changed my life. It allowed me to grow another successful YouTube channel, right? Over 50 million views, 6+ figures, all those type of things. But I would have never been able to do that if I didn't really lock in and not be so worried about the women and everything else, what people are doing, all these different social events. But take that time to really take the energy, right, that I have and focus on what really matters. Now, if you enjoy these type of topics and want to learn more, click this video on the screen now.